down the lane to hammer it home.
17-footer swish.
Welcome to Warriors Weekly, presented by Esurance. In this week's show, we'll catch up with Monte Ellis and talk about the early parts of the season. And Amber of the Warrior Girls tells us about her calendar shoot. Now for a look at some of the recent games. As the Warriors departed on their first long road trip of the year, here's Warriors Rewind. Warriors looking for their first road win of the season, stopped 2 on the long road trip. And after Toronto got out to an 8-0 run, Keith Smart used a timeout, and the Warriors played their best basketball of the season. David Lee with a double-double would lead the Warriors to a 15-point advantage at halftime. They would continually run off Raptor misses. Monte Ellis, highlight after highlight after highlight, 2 of his 28 points, as Ellis and Steph Curry would take over this ball game. In the second quarter, the Warriors shooting better than 50%, holding Toronto to under 40%, building the big halftime lead. But once they got the lead, it was the Raptors with steals off turnovers, runouts, and a 17-6 run that got Toronto back into the ball game. But Monte Ellis would steady the deal, dropping in a key 3 late in the third, and the Warriors would start to hold off the Raptors. But in the fourth quarter, Toronto again scrapping defensively, coming up with Warrior turnovers, cutting the 20-point lead all the way down to 4. Then Sonny Weems with a big dunk down the lane, and the Raptors were in the ball game. But Steph Curry, 16 of his 34 points in the fourth quarter. He and Monte Ellis combining on play after play. Curry with the 3, and the Warriors would stave off the Raptors. Curry again, 16 of those 34 down the stretch. The Warriors would get road win number 1. Scariest play of the night. Monte Ellis driving the lane, knocked backwards, laid motionless for a couple minutes. Raptors would go down and score on the other end, and Monte with a terrible fall, a sprained back, day to day, but appeared to avoid serious injury despite how scary the fall looked. Warriors win it 109-102, road win number 1. Stop 3 on the Warrior road trip, on to New York. Stop 3 on the Warrior road trip, their one and only visit to Madison Square Garden, and the return of David Lee. Early on, Amari Stoudemire, the big offseason acquisition, not disappointing with 33 points. But Biedrich and Lee would do their own damage inside. In fact, all 5 Warrior starters scored in double figures, with David Lee a season-high 28. Early on, the Warriors would lead by 2 at the end of 1, by 4 at halftime. Into the second half, though, they would build a 19-point lead, and it was Lee taking Stoudemire to task inside, and David Lee with the 28 points, the 10 rebounds. When he has a double-double, the Warriors are undefeated. Late in the ball game, though, it was Monte Ellis who continues his fine play. He would finish with 22, coming back from that scary injury in Toronto. But the 19-point lead would go away. Raymond Felton, a 4-point play from the quarter. The Knicks would live at the foul line, and it took a Steph Curry jumper to slow the tide for New York. They would come back and tie it, though, late in the ball game. It was Tony Douglas getting the and 1, and the Knicks would come all the way back and be right in the game. The Garden rocking on the Stoudemire 3-point play, and we're tied with a 3-minute ball game. But these Warriors are made of stronger stuff. Darrell Wright from the Monte pass, a kick-out 3. The Warriors retake the lead and would do enough down the stretch in the open floor. It was Williams being blocked, but Darrell Wright cleaning up again. 5 key fourth-quarter points, and the Warriors would have the lead. Stoudemire would hit a 3, and this one wasn't over. A 1-point ball game. Now the Knicks looking for the 3 to tie. Chandler would be off. Lee with the rebound. He would make the free throws, and the Warriors would hold on to win at the Garden, go 2-1 on the road trip. They beat New York 122-117. Stop 4 of the Warrior road trip in Chicago. 4 games in 5 nights against a rested Bull team that had been waiting since Monday, and the running of the Bulls started early. Turnovers fueling the Chicago fast break. In fact, 31 points off turnovers would be the difference in this game. Steph Curry and Monte Ellis would still have solid games. Monte with 24, Steph Curry with 17. But all all 5 Bulls starters would score in double figures. 26 from Luol Deng, 22 points, 13 assists from Derrick Rose, many of them in transition, and Warrior miscues and dead legs, resulting in great Bull steals and runouts. In Chicago, the deeper, the fresher team, no David Lee, so no power forward play for the Warriors, and the Bulls built a 28-point halftime lead. Managing the lead in the second half, it was all Chicago really all night long. The Bulls would shoot it at 55%, hold the Warriors to only 41% shooting. Chicago out-rebounds the Warriors 46-39. They have all the points off turnovers, plus 15 in that category. And the Warriors would go to 2-2 on the road trip, unable to stop Luol Deng, Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah, Taj Gibson, and the Chicago Bulls, who look like a real contender in the East. They beat up on the Warriors 120-90 at the United Center. Coming up next on Warriors Weekly, we meet Amber of the Warrior Girls, and then we head to Alameda to catch up with Monte Ellis at his home.